All right, so Citadel Securities, DTCC, and the parent company of the New York Stock Exchange just backed a new blockchain. Aviva Investors, one of Europe's largest asset managers, is tokenizing products on the XRP ledger. Tether is building what they call a freedom tech stack across 4 industries. And the IMF just dropped a paper that could reshape how every country on Earth regulates stablecoins. Yeah, this is a lot. Let's break it all down. And look, the timing here is not a coincidence. The UK's Financial Conduct Authority, the FCA, just published consultation paper CP25-28 in October on progressing fund tokenization. They're literally building the regulatory framework right now. JP Morgan, HSBC, and the London Stock Exchange Group have all entered the FCA's digital securities sandbox. So Aviva isn't just early. They're positioning themselves at the front of a regulatory wave that's about to hit. Now, here's what most people are missing. Jill Barber, Aviva's chief distribution officer, said, quote, "Tokenization has many benefits in the world of investing, including improvements in both time and cost efficiency," end quote. But this goes way deeper than efficiency. Ripple's Nigel Kaku said institutions like Aviva are now focused on deploying regulated financial assets at scale. And remember, this builds on Ripple's prior success with Arcax and ABRDN, where they launched the first tokenized money market fund on the XRP ledger back in late 2024. That fund was part of ABRDN's $3.8 billion US dollar liquidity fund. So the proof of concept is already there. But here's the contrarian angle nobody's talking about. The New York Fed published research in September 2025, warning that tokenized fund linkages could introduce new sources of funding risk and amplify systemic vulnerabilities. So while institutions race to tokenize, regulators are quietly flagging that this could accelerate shock transmission across the financial system. That tension between innovation and systemic risk, that's the real story here. So what is Zero? It's a blockchain targeting 2 million transactions per second per zone, with transaction cost approaching 1/1,000,000th of a dollar. That's roughly 100,000 times faster than Ethereum and 500 times faster than Solana, at least on paper. The architecture uses zero-knowledge proofs to separate transaction execution from verification, which is a fundamental departure from how blockchains have worked until now. But here's the thing that really matters. DTCC processes $2.5 quadrillion in securities transactions annually. They custody 1.4 million securities. Every stock trade in America essentially runs through DTCC. And their CEO, Frank LaSala, said, quote, "We believe that we can unlock the value of blockchain and deliver transformational benefits to market participants, including collateral mobility, new trading modalities, and programmable assets," end quote. Now, I need to give you the contrarian view here because the fine print matters. Every single institutional partner used carefully hedged language. Evaluating, exploring, investigating aims to deepen our understanding. Not a single firm committed to building on Zero. DTCC is also partnering with the Canton Network for Tokenization. ICE is building its own tokenized securities platform. These institutions are hedging across multiple blockchain bets. And here's the bombshell nobody's talking about. Only 20% of Zero tokens are actually circulating right now. 80% remains locked. There's a 25 million token unlock scheduled for February 20th, just 10 days after this announcement. So yeah, the headline is incredible, but the details deserve serious scrutiny. So here's where this gets wild. Tether made over $10 billion in profit in 2025, with only 300 employees. That might be the highest profit per employee ratio of any company on Earth. And they're reinvesting all of it. They have 140 portfolio investments, all funded from profits, no outside capital. The 4 pillars. Finance is USDT plus the new USAT stablecoin for the US market, which launched in January through Anchorage Digital Bank with Cantor Fitzgerald as custodian. Communications is Keat, a peer-to-peer encrypted messenger with built-in crypto payments. No servers, no middlemen. Intelligence is QVAC, an AI platform where models run entirely on your local device. No cloud, no API keys. And energy is MOS, an open source Bitcoin mining operating system they just released. And here's the insight that really caught my eye. Arduino said, quote, "If you need an API key to use your AI, it isn't truly yours," end quote. Think about that for a second. While big tech is building centralized AI clouds, Tether is building decentralized AI that runs on your phone. QVAC plus their wallet development kit means AI agents can autonomously transact in Bitcoin and USDT. They're building the financial rails for the machine-to-machine economy. But let's be real about the contradictions here. Tether preaches freedom and decentralization while maintaining centralized power to freeze anyone's USDT at will. They've frozen over $1.75 billion on Tron alone, and their close ties to the Trump administration through Howard Lutnick and Bo Hines. That looks less like anti-establishment independence and more like regulatory capture. The Economist called USDT a, quote, money launderer's dream, end quote. So the freedom tech narrative, it's compelling, but it's complicated. So here are the numbers that matter. Stablecoin market cap has doubled in 2 years. The two largest stablecoins hit a combined $260 billion, with trading volume increasing 90% to $23 trillion in 2024. And 97% of all stablecoins reference the US dollar, which is creating what the IMF calls a currency substitution risk for emerging markets. Now, the IMF's big concern is this. If a large share of domestic payments and savings in developing countries migrates into dollar stablecoins, central banks lose their ability to control monetary policy. They can't manage liquidity, credit creation, or interest rate transmission. For countries with high inflation or weak institutions, this could be devastating. But the crypto industry pushed back hard. Noel Atchison, who writes the Crypto is Macro Now newsletter, said it's, quote, way too soon for stablecoins to have much of an impact on emerging market currency runs, end quote. She pointed out that 80% of stablecoin usage is still crypto trading, not treasury management. And Erbal Karaman from Huma Finance said, quote, centralized policymaking and centralized financial systems have failed these people for decades, which is why they are mass adopting stablecoins and liberating themselves, end quote. Here's the real connection, though. The Genius Act, signed in July 2025, gives existing foreign stablecoins like USDT a 3-year compliance window. That clock is ticking. By 2028, Tether either complies with US regulations or exits the American market entirely. Meanwhile, they just launched USAT specifically for the US market. So Tether is playing both sides, freedom tech globally, regulatory compliance domestically. That's the chess move most people are missing. So look, what we're witnessing right now is the most significant convergence of traditional finance and blockchain infrastructure in history. The largest US market maker backing a new chain. Europe's biggest insurer tokenizing on XRP Ledger. The world's most profitable crypto company building a parallel technology stack. And the IMF trying to write the rule book before it's too late. The institutions aren't just coming, they're here. And the architecture of global finance is being rewritten in real time. The question is, are you paying attention? If this breakdown helped you see something the mainstream media isn't covering, smash that subscribe button, drop a comment. Which of these 4 stories do you think will have the biggest impact on your portfolio? I read every single comment. See you in the next one.